Hi, this is Joanne, and this is Financial Fridays on the Broadcast Sunny channel, and we will be talking CDs. Okay, CDs explain. What are they and how to get one? So what is a CD? A CD is a certificate of deposit. It is low risk, which also means low return. You can think of a CD like a savings account because you are putting a chunk of money into it that earns interest. However, the difference is in a savings account you tend to get you do get an interest rate, but it tends to be lower, and you can pull out your money almost at any time. It depends on your bank. Sometimes they only allow 6 withdrawals or something like that, but you can get it out more easily without penalty than with a CD. The CD tends to have a higher interest rate, but keep in mind, occasionally I have found that the savings account has a higher interest rate than a CD. That I personally think it is better to keep the money into the savings account until the CD interest rate goes up. Also, you cannot touch the money once you put it into the CD until it matures, and that would depend on which CD you choose. There are different time lengths. Now, technically, you can get the money out. There's just a penalty if you do so. So the pros and cons. Pros, it is low risk. You are not likely to lose any money in it. It is insured as long as you go through a member of the FDIC bank. And I have yet to find a CD that is not a fixed rate. So I say guaranteed fixed rate, but I must admit I haven't always seen that word guaranteed, but it is a fixed rate. So savings accounts do fluctuate. Once you put your money into the CD, it is that rate until you take it out and when it becomes mature. I mean, it is somewhat liquid in the sense that you can take the money out if an emergency comes up, but you will be penalized if you don't take it out at the proper time. But like I said, if an emergency was coming up. So the cons. It has a low return. It tends to be higher than your savings account. So if you have money sitting there in your savings account and you say, why? This is a good place to put it. But it is a low return. You can't touch the money, not even the interest, until it matures. Technically you can't, but you can, but you will have to pay a penalty. And the penalty if you take the money out early. There you go. And then there's a short time, and this always drives me nuts about CDs. There's a short time window to take the money out, usually between 10 days and a month. You'll have to check with the bank that is supplying it. And if you don't take the money out when it matures in that time frame, it will roll over into a CD with the same time limit, although the interest rate may be different. It may be whatever is available at that time. So then you're stuck in the CD again. If you get a 5-year CD and you forget to pull it out, you're in another 5-year CD, and you may need to pay a penalty. You may want this, but I always get stressed out about that. So how do you get a CD? You decided you wanted to get one. First, you want to determine how much money that you have to put into the CD. And with that, you want to determine how long you can part with that money. So if you know you're going to buy a new car soon, you want to make sure that money is available and not put it in a long-term CD. So those two factors you want to keep track of. But then you want to get the CD rate list from the different banks, because you want to shop around. Some banks may have a promotional CD rate. Also, if you check with your the place that you bank at, sometimes they have a member rate. sometimes, you know, one bank is just focusing on their CDs and another bank's mortgage, and that's why there are different rates depending on the CD. So before we look at a interest rate list, I wanted to explain to you the difference between interest rate and the annual percent yield, or APY. So interest rate is how much what the percentage they'll use to give you your interest, but the APY is how much you will end up with at the end. And just keep in mind, APY is higher than the interest. It's always higher because your interest that you earn each month is cumulative. So I'm going to give you an example, and the numbers are not accurate. I'm just put something together to give you an idea of what I mean. So you put $1,000 into a CD, and come January, you get $1 interest. Woohoo! So you don't get that interest, it gets put into your CD. So that way in March, you get another $4 because it is giving you interest on that dollar now. So that's a pretty good interest rate, but I don't, like I said, this is not correct. But so now you have $2.04, and then come April, it goes up just a little bit more. So now you have $1,003.10, and so on and so forth. Actually, I'm looking at these numbers. This is terrible, but yes. So the reason the APY is there is because it's a compounding interest. So keep that in mind. And you could go by either, just make sure you're comparing interest rates with interest rates or APY with APY. And I'm seeing more and more that banks are just putting up the APY. I guess you can say APY is the actual interest that you'll be getting, and not the monthly, broken down monthly. Anyway, that's how I remember APY actual. It's annual, but I think actual. Okay, let's look at some interest rates. This is a CD calculator, and see, this goes by APY as well. This is with Bankrate, which has been around forever. And so it will calculate how much you will get if you have a 5-month CD. I recommend this if you wanted to see how much you end up with at the end. Now this is Magnify Money, and it's by LendingTree, another online banking website that's been around forever. And let's start by looking at this top one. I looked up best CD rates, and this are all online CD rates. I personally would recommend, if this is your first CD, go to the bank and talk to them, because they'll break down everything you need to know and what's involved, and you can ask questions and everything. And I find banking online, it can be a challenge when you're first opening an account that you don't have a relationship with, because you have to put in some personal information. But here we go. So the CDs can be anywhere from 6 months to 5 years. It's with Capital One. It is 0.6 APY to 3% APY. No minimum deposit. So when you open this up, it lists how long you can keep the CD in and what are the interest rates. And as you can see, as the term increases, so does the APY interest rate. I'm going to show you Allied Bank. 3 months to 5 years, 0.75 to 3, $0 minimum deposit. The reason I'm showing you this, again, with the term level, the APY is going up. But if you look at the really high term levels, they also have it broken down into how much money you deposit, and as the deposit amount goes up, so does the interest rate. So this is a little bit more common, although I noticed in all these it's mainly term, the CD. But I'm going to show you on 2 different bank accounts where you can find the CD rates. So you type in their search engine, CD rates. I don't want IRA. Let's open a CD today. Okay, so here's Wells Fargo fixed CD rate. So here you can see that the term levels are going up. They have a column for interest rate and APY, and then the bonus interest rate. Now, like I said, this bonus interest rate could be because you bank with Wells Fargo, so they'll give you a little bump up. It could also have other implications. They may want you to open up an account or something to that effect. But we're going to just stick to the interest rate and APY. So for 9 months, you can see here as it goes up, it's lower down here for 29 and 39 months. And you might be asking, why is that? Well, this is probably a promotional rate, try to get people in to buy CDs. And that's why it's higher. The minimum is 5,000. Now we go down here to the standard rates. And as here, you can see that the term level is going up, and same with the interest rates. Now you see that the interest rate and APY is the same. That's because it's only for 3 months and the interest rate is so low that these are very close. So that's why that is. Now here you can also see that this is how much money you need to deposit. Although I'm not seeing any difference in the interest rate changing. So you're okay there. Oh, that's okay. So now let's try Bank of America. Oh, CD rates. All right. There's featured and standard. Let's try featured. Here gives you an overview. This is saying a minimum of 10,000, but let's look at it. It's insured. Automatic renewal. Ah, they're putting that as a feature. This is normal, automatic renewal. I don't see it as a feature. Okay, here you can click on today's rates, annual fee, transaction, an early withdrawal penalty will apply. Let's see today's CD rate. All right, so this is effective May 14th, 2019. And I point this out because if you decide today that you don't want to buy, and you're going to buy tomorrow, or get a CD tomorrow, check the rates again because they do change. I have heard them change at one time per hour, but I think that's rare. They hold pretty steady, but I would still check day to day if you decide to make it. Okay, these aren't CDs. Promotional CD and IRA products. There we go. All right, here is a $10,000 minimum to open a CD. So we'll ignore the less than 10,000. So you can see here the rate and the APY is going up not only by term. Oh, well, 7 months is shorter, but it's going up by term, and also, but mainly by how much you deposit. Yep, I've got $1 million to put into a CD. because that's where I'd put it. Okay, I wouldn't. Here too, that's probably for that IRA they were talking about. CD rates are going up per term, but it's staying steady over the amount that you're putting in. That's kind of new. Oh, here's IRA CD. Let's now look at, we saw standard with a low minimum. Okay, with a little as 1,000, here's the benefits, yada yada. What are the rates? Oh, you could put in what term, but I would want to see all the rates. Oh, here we go, rates. No, let's open now. Oh, they want you to know term beforehand. That's a pain in the ass. I didn't just curse, did I? So less than 10,000. Wow, that's really low. Yeah, according to this, I'd go with Wells Fargo. But you can check the other banks in your area. I even find that the small banks sometimes have some very good promotional ones. So that, my friends, is the CD rates explained. I hope you got a lot of information out of that. I encourage you to talk to your banker to get more information. And if you have any questions, I'll try and answer them. Just comment below. And please like, share, subscribe to this site. It helps. And if you want to learn more financials, check out the Financial Friday playlist on the Broadcast Sunny channel. Thank you.